Episode 1, Kevin, Prince of Beasts.
Boing, boing. Hey folks, welcome to a new playthrough. This is a game that we've been planning for a while now.
Yeah.
This is a game that was supposed to be the first game we featured on the channel.
It was.
Way back when we first...
Way back before the COVID-19 hit. So, we were actually supposed to play this game together. This was supposed to be our Paper Mario.
Yes.
But I ended up watching it via
Cell phone.
4-inch cell phone screen.
We made it work, but you saw the whole game in all of its
I saw
overexposed...
most of the game. But then I actually got to play the game myself a little bit later.
Yeah, so I played it and I chose Angela. Then you played it.
And I chose Riez.
You chose Riez. Now we're going to play it and choose Kevin.
Kevin! I ended up really enjoying Kevin.
Kevin is just like
I didn't think
unintentionally funny.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to like him. I really didn't. And then,
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's like I heard the dying dogs and I got really sad.
Aw.
I was like, I don't think I'm going to like Kevin.
Yeah.
And then I ended up really loving his character.
Yeah, he is the saddest opening.
He does.
But my trio was Angela is my main, Duran is my secondary, and I think Kevin was my third.
No, Riez.
Riez was my third, that's right.
So, and then mine was Riez is my first, Kevin is my second, and Hawkeye. was my
Hawkeye,
third.
okay. So this is a remake of the Super Nintendo game that was never released outside of Japan until,
'Cause
I
they
want to
keep
say,
everything good.
2018. Then they brought forth the Collection of Mana. And then they brought forth this remake in 2020, I believe, Trials of Mana.
I think it's a beautiful game. Like, the scenery is really pretty.
Well, they originally remade Adventure of Mana, which was called Final Fantasy Adventure on the Game Boy. And that looked like a cell phone game. Then they remade Secret of Mana, which was the one on the Super Nintendo that came to the States. And that still looked like a cell phone game. So they remade this one, and it looks like a very pretty PS2 game.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look as, like
Like,
jaw-droppingly gorgeous
it's
as...
not the, like, PS5.
Exactly. It doesn't look like the new God of
photograph
War or
of,
Hogwarts
like-
Legacy.
But I still think that it's a lovely looking game.
Yeah, I like it. It's very colorful and vibrant. And a lot of the characters look very similar to their 16-bit Super Nintendo counterparts.
Yeah.
Which I always think is super important, to not reimagine and be faithful to those original designs.
Which was impressive.
But what
Because I was
definitely
looking
won me
them
over
up
from
and
the
it
first
was
trailer
really
was the
impressive.
orchestral soundtrack.
Oh, it's stunning.
Like, this is one of my favorite soundtracks of all
Part of
time.
me really hates to be that type of person, but I love this one so much more than the original.
Yeah, we
Like,
played a couple
yeah,
songs.
like, it's not bad.
Meridian
like, it
Child
really-
doesn't hit the same
yeah,
way.
It really isn't a bad soundtrack than the original. It's just like, it's very fake computery sounding sounds.
It's MIDI.
Yeah.
It's what they gotta do.
Yeah, but I think for the time and what they were working with, it's really well done. But like,
Yeah.
this new one, because it still is computer-generated music, is it not?
I think it's synthetic orchestra.
Yeah.
So,
So
it's
it's-
like
they're
recorded
not
with
actual-
instruments, but it's like composed together.
Right.
In the
It's
computer.
not an actual orchestra sitting in a room playing this together, and I think that is amazing. Mm-hmm. And who knows, 30 years down the road, people are going to be like, oh my god. You know.
But, yeah, so here we go.
Trials of Mana, cause damn it all.
Trials of Mana.
I would get Charlotte in the opening, well, title screen.
So, and then for anyone who watched Rystar earlier this week, I'm finally getting over my cold.
Yeah.
But as for two people that live together and share meals together and are together all the time, now
Yeah.
you are sick.
Yeah, now
So-
I'm coming down with something.
Yeah, so if you hear us like coughing or sniffling, we don't have anything too terrible. It's just a cold.
Yeah,
But just so you know, if we sound a little off or like you hear coughing or sniffling or, you know, something like that, that's what's going on.
We'll be nice and turn our head so it's not like directly into the
Oh
microphone.
no, I want to cough directly into the mic.
I don't want you to.
No,
It'll
it's a
damage the
really
mic.
ugly cough.
I know it is.
That's me.
Don't do it. Alright, so we're gonna do
Throw the mic
Kevin
cover in
as
the
our
washer.
main. I guess we can do Charlotte, otherwise we'll never use
Yeah,
her.
we haven't seen her story
Yeah.
yet, so.
So let's do
Look,
Charlotte.
she's like, finally, someone picked me! Because I'm so annoyed.
I have a speech impediment, and the actor really committed.
I am Reese.
I gotta give her that. She
Pleasure
committed to
make
it.
your acquaintance.
And best girl Reese.
I really enjoy Riez. I actually did a painting of her.
You did, yes.
Yeah. Of her Dragonlance costume.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So, who knows?
But we did the first experience based on Reese.
Yeah.
That was fun, and because she's one of my main 3, we're gonna see snippets of her story again.
Yeah.
So I'll play through all
And
3.
what's really interesting, so this will be, I'm curious to see if Reese's story is going to play out similarly in this version as it did the very first time.
It is, but it's not gonna be the main focus compared. Like,
Well, I meant the first time you played it, because she was also the third and
Right.
the first time you played it. So, like, do they edit those according to your entire crew, or, like, how's it going to play out? Is it going to be exactly the same, or
Right.
are there going to be differences?
I'm curious about that too. Now that you mention it.
Guy's beard goes all the way up to his under eyeball.
That it does. That's what it means to be a beastman. Hair all over the place. That's right, and every last inch of me's covered in hair.
Oh no.
And no, we actually get to see more of Gormand in this playthrough now.
He is like creepy.
Because he was like slapped aside. Well, at first we just thought he was a jester.
Yeah,
And
it
the
turns
more
out
we
he's a
watched, he's
marionette
a
puppet.
he's a marionette.
Which I'm like fascinated and disturbed by marionettes and just like dolls in general.
Okay.
So like I always just thought they were really creepy.
Yeah.
I used to have so my grandma bought me a Cabbage Patch doll when I was pretty young. And I was terrified of this freaking doll. And it was like right when they started making dolls that would talk. And her main catchphrase was, "I love you, let's be friends."
Okay.
And I don't know if something had short-circuited inside this doll, but she would just say it without like pressing the button. And it freaked me out. So like the one night I was so scared, I like picked her up and I flew out into the hallway and like whipped her into my brother's room. And I heard it like hit the wall and just go, "I love you, let's be friends." And I like ran back into my room and I slammed the door and I like threw the covers over my head. And all of a sudden I just hear my brother. And then my door whips open and he throws it back into my room, and that went on for a while of us
Oh
just
my
being
gosh.
like, "You take it!" Like,
Keep your demon baby doll.
Yeah, and I ended up just like putting it in the closet because I could not sleep. I was so scared.
Well, shit. No, never had much of that.
Oh, I hated baby dolls. And everyone thought because I was like the youngest girl, they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, give her a baby doll." And I hated them. I hated them. They were so creepy.
Oh boy.
Oh, it was even worse. I had one where like if you laid it down, its eyes would close. And as soon as you sat it back up, its eyes would open, and I thought
Nah.
it could see me.
No, thank you.
I put like a little bag over her head. I just hated it.
My sister had quite a few dolls, but never had an encounter like that. She
See, I
also
had,
had a
like-
few teddy bears as well.
Yeah, I had like Barbie dolls were fine. I enjoyed like playing with Barbie dolls when I was little, but like baby dolls, hated them.
Gotcha. All right, so this is Kevin
This is his story.
snoozing with his best bud, Carl.
Carl.
I think Carl.
That's the only reason this is bearable is the dog's name is Carl.
Yeah, so you're allowed to like snicker and be like, seriously.
Carl. I feel like the next animal.
But he's
we
got like
get-
his friendship bracelet over his paw.
No.
Best friends.
Like I know that our like future animals are definitely gonna be like character names or like video game names, things like that. But part of me really wants to have a dog and just like name it like Samantha.
Oh, okay.
So like, oh,
Paul. What an absurd name for a cat.
I know, like, damn it, Samantha got her head stuck behind the fridge again. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Just to freak out the public and be like,
yeah.
we should probably do something about
man.
Samantha and her head getting stuck in the back.
Samantha shit all over the floor. Like,
Don't bark like a dog.
So, I guess we should address this. Like, the voice acting in this game is all over the place. That's one of the reasons why I'm just talking over it. It's like most people don't want to hear the voice acting, and if you want to, I'll just like keep the level low enough to where you can hear them. But Kevin doesn't so much have a speech impediment, but he doesn't know English well. So he talks in a way like he doesn't understand what he's saying.
I got that he sounds very young.
Yes.
Like, I know he's supposed to be young. Like,
He's
his
the second
character in
youngest of the
general,
entire
he's a young
game.
young character. Well, that I don't know, because Charlotte's not young. Like,
Charlotte is young
wasn't-
in human years, but she's very old in like elven years.
I thought it was the opposite. She's like very young in elven years, but human years, she's like in her 30s.
Oh, okay.
Like, she's not a young person, but she's like young in her species.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's if I'm remembering correctly.
All I
could be,
remember
like,
is
misremembering, but
Charlotte's the youngest and Hawkeye's the oldest.
okay.
Yeah. All right, so we have a battle tutorial here, and it's just, the first time I did this, I'm like, okay, so we're not doing to Kevin,
Yeah.
because like every time you do like powerful hits, it winces.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I don't want to do
Like,
this.
He winces, but he also like barks,
Yeah, he lets out the little yelp.
like the dog yell, and I'm like, you couldn't give him like a weird human like ah,
Yeah.
like it's heart wrenching. But his voice acting makes me think of a young person that is very like doesn't talk a lot.
Okay.
So they're just because he takes like awkward long pauses.
Yes.
But some of his lines are pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, he is like a very campy character when you actually get to see him shine. He does some hilarious stuff. But then again, all the characters like have their hilarious moments. And, like, is that kind of like awkward hilarious to where it's just like, was this intentional, or
like
does
it's
it
like-
just turn out to be hilarious?
Part of me like thinks that's what adds charm to it. Oh. Don't play us like that, Carl. Oh! It kills people, Carl.
I seem to be stuck. Press X? Oh, I just had to press it. I held it in.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That explains it. Alright, there you go. Down with the doggy.
Carl's like, good job, friend. Just kidding, I'm rabid.
There we go. Phenomenal fist! Itty bitty living space.
Ultimate power!
What are you doing? Carl!
Ouch. Alright. Now you've done it.
The one thing that I think is just really funny is just Carl's costume in general. Like, what is that little hat?
You mean Kevin's?
Yeah.
Buddies.
His little hat.
His little foo-foo.
His little fur coat. Like his little fur scarf.
It's, well, he loses it when he goes into, like, Wolf Goku.
Well, no, they just go from a scarf to, like, shoulder pads. But he does lose his little hat.
He loses the little yarmulke or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
his little fur fez.
Fez, that's the one.
Fez is a cool.
Yeah.
That's a Doctor Who quote.
I'm not too familiar with Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's from the 11th Doctor. He wears a fez, and he goes, Fez is a cool.
I got into it when everyone started hating it, and I was just like, cool, I'll bounce.
I don't necessarily hate it. I just don't like the direction that they decided to go in.
Gotcha.
So I feel like it was a little too fan servicey.
Very understandable.
I mean, my favorite doctors were like the early doctors.
Okay.
So like
Aw. Gotta bury a dog.
6 was one of my favorites.
If you want to get me emotionally invested in a story, just kill off a dog character earlier on.
That's why we haven't watched Marley and Me or Hachi.
You took that movie out and went,
I
nope,
did.
put it right
I
back
put it
in. And
right
I said,
back in the
all
bucket.
right.
We have like
Some other time, I guess.
yeah, I don't remember which other playthrough we brought up the bucket, but
I'm sure we
have,
mentioned
like,
it before.
a little flower pot that we have like all of the movies that we own that one of us have not seen. So either both of us haven't seen it or more like I haven't seen it There's a couple in there you haven't seen.
Yeah, there's a couple.
And it's like for movie nights, we just like pull one out of the bucket to try and like get our to watch list down.
Right.
Every time I pull like Marley and Me, Hachi, I just put it right back in the bucket. I know what happens. Why do I have to watch it? I'm gonna cry.
It must be done.
I cry at everything though.
Yeah, you do
but
cry
I feel
at
like
everything.
that one I'll like ugly cry. Like when I
That
like,
one I'll cry with you.
like when we watched Coco, and I had to like because we watched it over the
moved the
phone during
camera.
quarantine, and I had to like turn the camera over because I was like snot crying on myself.
Coco was really good. Soul was really good too. We have yet to see Luca. Luca's like the newer Pixar, and I was
feel
just like,
Luca's
didn't they just do one?
Yeah, I feel like Luca's gonna be exactly like Coco,
Uh-huh.
only Italian.
Alright, so now we're going to find clues as to how to bring Carl back. And that's Kevin's entire motivation. I killed my pup, but it's not my fault. So now we got to find a way to bring
He's
Carl
Scottish,
back.
if you didn't know.
Yeah, he's Scottish now. Well, I can always just do awkward Shatner pauses. I forgot the word for a second there.
I mean, it worked in your favor.
Yeah, it did.
Like,
Yes, it was. I do a lot of Shatner, not even intentionally. I just have that like color wheel loading in the midst of my phrases.
see, the problem is, have you ever had your computer like color wheel load something, and then when it finally stops loading, it's not what you were originally searching for?
No,
Like
never
it'll
had
go,
that.
It'll go back to like Google
Okay.
or like your search engine. Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Okay. It's happened to me a couple times. That's what my brain does.
Okay.
It's like now loading, and then it just goes back to search engine, and I'm like, what happened to the page that was loading? And it's like, no. We're done with that.
What's a cat doing here? This is the land of the beastmen.
Dogs can have cats. Look at Wesker.
Ain't that the truth? But one of the features I like about this that when we played the original did not have was a built-in map.
Yeah.
When I played the original on Collection of Mana, I was like, holy shit, I don't know where I'm going. It all looks alike.
Which ones are his eyebrows?
Good point.
It's Ferretti.
Yeah, this is everybody's so like Power Ranger
Yeah.
motions and
The way that they move.
their
cracks me
gestures.
up.
You pointed that out with Bill and Ben.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Like, part of me, the next time I feel awkward at work, I'm just gonna speak like them. Just by, like, moving my upper body a lot.
But it's always like moving your arms in very ridiculous fashion. We all.
Can we just look at the little bow?
Your old man picked me
Sure.
to lead the beastmen
Yeah,
to
the
victory.
bow holding his
He
pants up.
trusts me with his invasion plan, not you. How does it feel to be a
You're thinking of
waste
a naughty
space,
thought,
huh?
aren't you?
I am thinking of a naughty thought.
That big old doggy dick.
No, what they look like, what the bow looks like.
Oh, just like drooping ball sack?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. I don't think they're sick-minded individuals like we are. But then again, have you seen the women in this game?
I know, yeah, they are sick-minded individuals.
Belladonna
I don't
looks like
wanna-
she got like injected by like a
It looks like she has an allergic reaction,
reaction to a
like,
wasp.
wasps.
Yeah.
My boobies were stung, and now they're swollen, and they're like, it'll work.
Angela and Reese always fall, so you see up their skirt.
I hate it. hate it.
But hey, it's evened out because like Kevin got his abs showing all the time, and Ludger got his big old dog dick.
It's weird. Why? It's weird.
Cause Japan, of course. Huh? Oh, there must be plot over this wall.
Hear something through the wall.
Come on, Kevin, you can do it.
I know that voice.
Well done, Cormac.
So yeah, I'm curious how this plays out because the 2 playthroughs we did, he was like a secondary character.
Yeah.
So there's a
Well, like
resolution
Gorman,
that we know.
I saw Gorman for like a hot second.
Yeah, Gorman is just like, oh hey, I hate you, bye bye. And then he's like, oh, someone beat me to the punch. Toodles!
Yeah.
Child's play.
So it'd be interesting to actually see his involvement in the plot.
Induced Kevin's
Because like I mentioned, the Crimson Wizard you barely saw in your playthrough.
Yeah.
The same with me
Because I
and
didn't have anyone for the Crimson Wizard.
the
Like,
dude
he
that looks like
wasn't-
Vlad Plasmius.
Yeah. He was in mine a lot.
Yeah, he was in
He
yours
was
a
like
lot,
a
whereas
mix with
he only
Belladonna.
showed up in a cutscene on my playthrough.
Luna has decided now is the perfect time to scratch the scratching post.
But of course. And now we know the truth. Our father's behind this. And now we will fight!
He's like, I just punched through this double-layered brick wall.
Kevin Punch!
Egads.
Oh yeah, Gormand is very, like, hokey. He's goofy
sounds
and
like a
over the top,
prospector.
but also creepy because of the way he moves.
Yeah,
and I really like his
that's what makes
delivery.
him creepy is like his movements because like he is very clearly a marionette doll. Like,
Yes.
in the way that he moves, which I think they did a really great job considering how everyone else moves is very unnatural to like people
Just got open hand slapped by Dad. He didn't even close his fist.
because a closed fist leaves bruises. Can't have that.
devourer. Did you not?
But yeah, Gormand is one of the actors that I feel did a very good performance. Like, he's creepy, he's kind of silly, but like there's a dark undertone to him, and like he's just hamming it up.
Yeah.
So you can tell the actor was having fun. Gormand and Hawkeye,
Yeah.
I feel had a lot of fun. The other characters I feel were like fine. I felt Angela never really developed past the sassy point, whereas I think it would have been nice if like her actual performance
Yeah.
developed beyond just being sassy. Be like, ugh, oh my god, I'm so annoyed by everything.
Yeah, she was just kind of like the sassy bitch.
Because like she's fun to play as. She has a lot of very cool spells. And once I understood like elemental weaknesses, because it goes a lot further than just fire, water, earth, and wind.
Yeah.
Like there's 8 elements, and I'm just like, okay, well, wood gotta be weak to something, moon gotta be weak to something.
Yeah.
So once I figured that out, it was really fun to utilize her spells.
Well, like Kevin, what I think is really interesting with Kevin that I only started to utilize like towards the end of playing him is he's more powerful in his wolf form,
Yes.
which he turns into during nighttime. So like eventually you get a way to turn from day to night. So for like battles that were a bit more difficult, you can make it nighttime and have Kevin be stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin is very powerful. He is the hardest hitter of all the
Oh, yeah.
characters. But he does not do that many spells.
I don't think I had him with any spells actually, but he had like a shit ton of physical attacks.
Yeah. Whereas Charlotte and Angela are actually the weakest hitters, but they have the most spells.
Yeah.
Duran is kind of like a middle ground, and
So is Reese.
Reese is
Reese
perfectly
has some-
balanced,
yeah,
as
she-
all things should be.
Perfectly balanced, as Hespia is.
So there we go, we're going to use some training points. And right off the bat, I recommend just pouring as much as possible into strength for Kevin.
Yeah, it like I tried to utilize evenly for him, and it really isn't worth it. Like
Nah.
make him as
Like,
strong as you can.
I'd like to do a lot of stats with strength, and I think stamina is the other one that's very important. With Reese, I like more of a balance. Balancing things out, maybe having a little bit more into like intelligence.
Yeah.
And with Charlotte, I want to pour into like spirit.
Okay.
And like, that's my plan. Again, I'm playing on normal.
Well, like from everything that I've researched on like the gameplay, apparently the door, the evil door.
Oh my god.
Like that is Charlotte's moment.
Okay. Thank God. That was a boss where I was just like, hello, difficulty spike.
Yeah. I played on easy, and I was still like, holy shit.
I know.
Because that was the moment where I was like breezing through, and you were like, listen, if you keep like playing like this, we're gonna up the difficulty. And then I hit the door, and you were just like, never mind.
Never mind.
But, like, could you imagine a mean customer and you're just like, follow me, and you walk like Gorman? Like,
Yeah. They'd be like, oh, please, I'll show you where the tapes are in the back.
I know, they're just like marionette style, like,
My head just like...
bobbing along, and they'll be like, oh, Jesus. Someone get an exorcist up in here.
But, no, the interesting thing about Gorman is, like, he plays the fool. He comes off as, like, very, like, meek and like, oh, please, don't hurt me.
Yeah.
I have information you want. Whereas he's the kind of character that's going to, like, draw a knife into your back.
Yeah. He's a backstabber. Like, he's the one that, like, doesn't need to be physically strong because he'll just wait till you turn around.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the Crimson Wizard would be like, stand and face me, like...
He
type
didn't even
character.
want to be bothered because
Yeah.
he warps. So he's just like, because that's what Duran says. Stay and fight, you coward. And he's just like, no,
Yeah.
not really worth my time.
But even when you are fighting him, he's, like, almost like
And
it's funny.
Belladonna's just psychotic.
Belladonna's
She's
just
a
like, I hope
sadist.
my boobs don't fall out. Like,
To be fair, there was more to her than just that. But she was a sadist.
I don't know, that's, like, all I could focus on. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I really like her other form, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was...
So this is cool. He has a scythe.
Ooh.
That's when I was like, ooh, I get a feeling I'm going to like this character. Best characters wield scythes, even though they're very impractical weapons.
Maka!
Like Maka, the Grim Reaper, and now Gorman, but like... there's no practicality in wielding a scythe compared to like a good old sword or
See,
spear.
I feel like it depends on your location and who you're fighting.
Okay. I feel like it would get stuck, though.
Well, like, if... So, what game was it we were playing? Oh, shit.
You're gonna have to help me out here. Just do more than...
Castlevania.
Okay, Castlevania.
Where he, like, goes to swing the scythe and it gets stuck in the ceiling. It's in the anime.
Oh, right. Yep.
And it's just like, yeah, that's because a scythe is an impractical weapon for close combat inside.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't make sense. But if you're outside like that, and you have, like, the power to swing a scythe,
Yeah, you have wide
that's
swings.
That's an extremely deadly weapon because you're just gonna slice the shit out of people. Like,
Okay.
So, but if you're in like an open range where it's not going to get stuck on something that you don't want it to get stuck on, then I feel like it's a really good weapon.
Okay.
But if you're like inside a house or a building,
It'll
it's
just
really,
bump off things.
It's really impractical because you can't get the swing that it needs.
So it's a weapon that like keeps your radius protected
Yeah.
because like it has such a wide range, but you don't have to be up close to your
Right.
opponent. And here we go, the magnificent theme, Meridian Child.
So good.
When this theme plays, you know you're in for a good time.
So good.
And oh my god. So with all the other characters, when Meridian Child's played and you see their motivation, they take a boat. He dives into the ocean.
Kevin's just like, screw the boat.
And off he goes. It is the funniest thing. I'm just like, my god.
Which is really funny because in my playthrough, he says he can't swim.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. What the hell?
So, like, whenever I was playing and he was
Lion
my
mutt.
secondary character, they were on the ship, and Riez paid for him because he was like, I don't have any money. Which it was all, like, a part of the script and, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, he's not going to have any money. Everything goes through your main character.
Gotcha.
But he was like, I don't have any money. And Riez is like, well, I don't know what to tell you. And he goes, I can't swim. So she's like, well, I'll pay for your ticket. And it was just really funny.
He lied. The cheeky little mutt.
It kind of is upsetting that he, like, freestyle swims and he doesn't doggy paddle.
Yeah, I love this. I love it so much. They're just like, is that a dude just power swimming? Just move over, Michael Phelps.
I know.
Kevin's going to the Tokyo Olympics.
He's like, I can't get the fur on my hat wet.
Don't dampen the fez. But yeah,
that's
that
good.
that was the moment where I was just like, I think I'm really gonna enjoy Kevin's playthrough.
Yeah. It's just, I really enjoy that each character has their own, like, unique little charm. So I'm
They
excited.
do, yeah.
I'm excited to see these characters play together. As annoying as Charlotte can be, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's time for us to warm up to Charlotte and see what happens.
We have to see what's wrong with little ones.
Alright, so in the next part, we're going to explore the city of Jad, because it looks like the Beastmen beat us to the punch.
Oh no.
Jad is now under control by the Beastmen. Alright, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Toodles.
Resist, and we may spare you.
Ferolian forces have taken the town and closed the docks. Now my ship's stuck in the harbor until who knows when.